والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu Allahi alaikum wa rahmatuhu wa barakatuhu. It's a pleasure to be talking to you on this workshop on leadership and community development, as well as integration of knowledge and educational development. I'll be talking today about integration of knowledge and its relevance in a secular state. Now, secularism is in principle trying to conduct human affairs based on naturalistic or secular considerations. That means without involvement of religion. Now, it's also defined as separation of religion from the government, or separation of religion from public affairs. This definition looks simple, but in reality, it's very complicated because philosophically, secularism tries to explain everything based on materialism, on the material world, without consideration of religion. It's a shift from the religious to what is called temporal or materialistic. But it's not simple because there are several types of secularism. For example, in the West, you have got the French meaning of secularism, the Turkish meaning of secularism, and the Anglo-American meaning, and also in India, it varies from country to country. In some countries, secularism actually is anti-religion. It's fighting religion, try to remove religion. In some other countries, it just means don't think about religion. Just deal with the citizen as a citizen, and religion is his or her private matter. So there are many ways of understanding it, but I think for our purposes, we need to look at secularism as a situation in which the government does not enforce any one religion. It leaves religion in the hands of the followers of those religions, but it gives them full freedom to worship and conduct their lives according to their religious beliefs. Now, when it comes to education, we run into a problem because governments provide education in schools and universities. And if citizens want to use their religion in the school, and the school has got several other religions, a multiplicity of pluralism, then there is a problem there that requires to be solved. In many societies, you have got public schools that are completely secular. They don't talk about religion at all. And then you may have Christian schools that teach, but from the from the Christian perspective. You may also have Islamic schools that teach from an Islamic perspective. In short, the word secular is not easy to define. It varies from place to place. What I want to emphasize is that secularism has got a history. When we go back to the history of secularism, we'll understand it much better. Europe, before the 16th or 17th century, was deeply Christian, and the church was very strong. The church controlled everything. The Catholic Church controlled everything. Then there was a change called Reformation, when the role of the church was removed from the government and from public life. But this happened slowly. It didn't happen all of a sudden. Now, it didn't mean that the government or public life became religiously neutral, because what replaced Catholicism was a return to the old Roman and Greek heritage. The Roman and Greek heritage are a religion, but it's not a formal religion like Islam or Christianity with a book and a definite ideology, but they are a form of religion. So secularism actually came to mean a return to that sort of religion. And when you look at the Western life today, a lot of things that were Greek and Roman have come back into life. So secularism could actually mean that ancient religion. We have got to be very careful when we use this term. So after having explained how complicated it is, now we want to talk about how secularism can deal with the program of integration of knowledge. Integration of knowledge means that as we teach or we study or research in the various disciplines of knowledge, we use human knowledge based on human observation and human experimentation. But we also have to consider other sources of knowledge. So in Islam, we consider that there are two sources of knowledge. The first one is transmitted knowledge, ilm naqli. This comes from Quran and Sunnah. The second one is human knowledge, also called ilm aqli. So when we teach or study or research, we want to integrate these two sources of knowledge in order to have a complete understanding of what we are doing, because you need to have all sources of knowledge considered to solve the complex problems of humanity. So that's what we mean by integration of knowledge. But then there is the other issue. If a Muslim integrates and a Christian integrates, then they are not going to agree, because each one has got a different source of knowledge in terms of religion. But fortunately, that's not a big problem, because at least the Abrahamic religions do agree in the basic values that are involved in knowledge and education. I will be presenting the basic values that Islam brings to knowledge and research and education, but these values are universal. Christianity also has the same values. Judaism has got the same values. And some of the other religions like Buddhism or philosophies like Buddhism, Confucianism, and Hinduism, they also have got the same values. So when we talk about this integration, we are not talking about integrating values of only one religion, which will cause sensitivity to other people. We are talking about integrating values that are universal in all religions. Now, what are these values? They are basically three values that we want to integrate in knowledge. And these values derive from Islamic teachings. But as I said, the same values are found in Christianity, in Catholicism, Protestantism. Also, they are found in Judaism. Also, they are found in Asian philosophies, Confucianism, Taoism, Hinduism, and Buddhism. The first value that we need to integrate in knowledge is the value of subjectivity. This is called istiqama. The Quranic injunction says, Hidina Surat al-Mustaqim, guide us on the straight path. What does istiqama mean? Istiqama means that in our search for knowledge, in our research, in our teaching, We follow the straight path of the truth. We follow the facts and do not follow our feelings or our emotions. That way, the knowledge generated is going to be objective knowledge and not biased knowledge. And I think all religions agree on this basic value. The second value that we want to integrate in knowledge, and especially in science and technology, is the value of balance, at-tawazun, al-mizan. A lot of times when we deal with the science and technology, we develop things, but then we go to the extremes. Like we developed factories, which produced a lot of useful things, products, cars, buildings. But then at the same time, we polluted the environment. Now we are struggling with the pollution of the environment, with the climate change that came about because of the great industrialization that we went through. So the point is that whatever we do, we need to maintain a balance. We need to know that science and technology have got benefits, but also they have got side effects that could harm us. So whatever we do, we need to maintain this balance. Unfortunately, humanity until today has not been very good in maintaining the balance. In the social area, also, we suffer from that problem. Sometimes we've got the issue of equality and human rights. And when we enforce human rights, especially human rights of within the family, the tradition of family breaks down. So we end up with the children growing not in a natural family. So either way, you want to achieve something, but then you cause another problem. So the second value that we want to integrate in knowledge and research and education is the value of balance, at-tawazun. The third value that we want to integrate in knowledge is the value of purposiveness, al-gha'iyya, the Arabic terminology, Islamic terminology, that whatever we do today, we need to do it with the end in mind. Where are we going? Sometimes I've got the impression that we keep on developing knowledge and research and products and technology without thinking where we are going. Then we end up in problems. And then we regret and we want to come back, which is not easy. So we need to integrate purposiveness. We need to define what is the purpose, what is the goal, where are we going, what do we want to reach? Because if we have got the goal clear in our minds, there are things that we will not do because they are dangerous. There's things that we will not do because they will not be useful. There are things that we will not do because they will be destructive. So now let me end by saying that the way forward is that we need to have knowledge integrated. We need to integrate values in knowledge, and that there are three basic values that we have to integrate in knowledge. There is another aspect to this integration that maybe we'll address another time. And I think in the Western world, they are now concerned about integration. They talk about interdisciplinary integration, and then they talk about multidisciplinary integration, and they talk about transdisciplinary integration. The transdisciplinary integration is the one that fits with what I've just been saying, that you do not only deal with the facts of physics or chemistry or biology, but you go outside the box to look at other values, like the three values that I have mentioned, that when they are part of the process, you get complete and holistic, useful, and balanced knowledge. Thank you very much for listening to me. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.